Baseball is a game that lends itself to statistics more than any other sport. However, they often appear on the TV screen without any labels, making it difficult to understand for new fans. Even box scores lack labels, making it confusing even for experienced fans. This video will present two different types of baseball statistics: counting statistics and rate statistics. Counting statistics tally the total number of occurrences of an event, such as a hit or a base steal, while rate statistics use averages or ratios in order to measure a player's performance. Counting statistics can be good for individual games, though rate statistics are often used to compare players. Otherwise, players with more playtime will naturally total more counting statistics. This video will cover the statistics required to be able to read a box score. At the top, it lists how many runs were scored during each inning. R stands for total runs at the end of the game by each team. It lists the two starting pitchers for each team, as well as who won this game and how many games this pitcher has won for his team this season. The winning pitcher is awarded the game by the official scorer, a person who observes and records the game and makes judgment calls, such as determining if a player got to base via a hit, the success of the batter, or an error, a misplay of the defense. Sometimes you will see S. S stands for save. A save is awarded to a relief pitcher who finishes the game for the winning team. In the box score, H stands for hits, while E stands for errors. The score at the top also lists how many games each team has won this season, as well as what rank they are in their respective divisions. ERA will be discussed in the pitcher statistics portion later in the video. In the batting order, you will see each batter is listed alongside their position. P is for pitcher, C is for catcher, 1B is for first baseman, 2B for second baseman, 3B for third baseman, SS for shortstop, LF for left fielder, CF for center fielder, and RF for right fielder. DH stands for designated hitter, a specialized position who bats in place of the pitcher. In the box score, AB represents at-bat. In baseball, an at-bat is the batter's turn against the pitcher. However, an official at-bat only occurs under the following circumstances: when the batter records a hit, or when the batter reaches base due to an error or a fielder's choice. A batter can also receive an at-bat when they are put out, but not off a sacrifice fly, a special play where the batter purposefully hits the ball high into the outfield so that the runner, usually on third, can score. Errors are misplays that allow the batter or base runner an additional base that they were not allowed. For example, the shortstop throwing the ball over the first baseman's head when trying to get a runner out on first. Then, the runner advancing to second as a result of this misplay. A fielder's choice occurs when a player has the option of two different optimal plays. For example, the shortstop gets the ball and then has the option of either throwing the runner out on first or second. Determining whether a play is an error or a fielder's choice is the responsibility of the official scorer. An at-bat is not recorded on a walk if they are hit by the pitch, which results in a walk, a sacrifice fly, catcher interference, or being replaced by another hitter, such as a pinch hitter. An at-bat is an important statistic because it is used as the denominator in several other statistics covered later in the video. You sometimes might see plate appearance or PA. An at-bat is distinct from a plate appearance, which is broader. Plate appearance generally refers to every time a batter goes up to plate at all, including walks. R stands for runs. A player is awarded 1 run if he safely rounds all the bases and crosses home plate. A run can be scored individually, such as in the event of a home run, or with the help of other batters over the course of several plays. Runs are awarded even in the event of errors or fielder's choice. H stands for hits. A hit occurs when the batter strikes the ball into fair territory and safely reaches a base, without the help of an error or a fielder's choice. There are 4 types of hits in baseball: a single when the batter reaches first base, a double when the batter reaches second, a triple when they reach third base, and a home run when they make it all the way back to home plate. A hit is still awarded to the batter even if he is thrown out attempting to take an extra base, such as trying to turn a single into a double. RBI stands for runs batted in. A player is credited with an RBI when the result of his plate appearance results in a run being scored. For example, if Shohei Ohtani is on third base and then Babe Ruth comes up to bat and hits the ball, allowing Ohtani to run home, Ruth will have earned 1 RBI. If Mike Trout is on first, Mike Schmidt is on second, and then Babe Ruth comes up to bat and hits a home run, Ruth will be credited with 3 RBIs. RBIs look at plate appearance, not just at-bats. So if the bases were loaded, players on all 3 bases, and then Barry Bonds was intentionally walked, which actually happened, Bonds would secure 1 RBI from his plate appearance, but would not actually accrue an at-bat. Players do not receive an RBI off an error. BB stands for base on balls, colloquially referred to as a walk. Indicates that a player got to base as a result of the pitcher throwing 4 pitches outside of the strike zone, which were not swung at by the batter. Walks are an important stat for both pitchers and hitters. For pitchers, it can demonstrate a low level of control, throwing too many pitches outside of the strike zone, while for a batter, it can indicate a high level of plate discipline, as he doesn't swing at pitches he shouldn't swing at. Some batters are walked intentionally, especially great batters, who the defending teams want to minimize the damage. Intentional walks are still marked in the record book as walks. Hit by pitches are not marked as walks in the record books, although both result in the batter being safely awarded first base. K stands for strikeout. A batter is struck out when they accumulate 3 strikes during their time at bat. Players can be struck out with any combination of looking strikes when the batter does not swing, and swinging strikes when they swing their bat and miss. If a batter hits the ball but it goes into foul territory, they receive 1 strike, unless they already have 2. Batters cannot be struck out off a foul tip. Both the batter and pitcher get credit for a strikeout in the record book. Pitchers with a high number of strikeouts are considered good, while batters with a high number of strikeouts are considered bad. Though remember, with many of these statistics, more times at bat means higher numbers in all stats. The next statistic we will be looking at is the first rate statistic. AVG stands for batting average. Batting average is calculated by dividing a player's hits by their total at-bats. This always produces a number between 0 and 1. It is usually rounded to 3 decimal places. Remember that batting average uses at-bats, not plate appearances, and thus does not factor in if a player got to base via a walk. Pitchers are sometimes listed with a BAA, or batting average against. This is calculated inversely by dividing the number of hits against the pitcher by the number of at-bats against him. In informal speech, batting average is read without the decimal place. For example, Ty Cobb, the all-time leader in batting average, batted .366 for his career. Over the last 10 years, the league batting average was .250. .270 is considered good, while above .300 is considered great. Below .250 is considered poor, while below .200 is considered very poor, and even entering the cultural lexicon is the Mendoza line. Player Mario Mendoza failed to reach a .200 batting average 5 times in his 9-year Major League career, earning him ridicule by his teammates and fans. The last batting statistic is OPS. OPS stands for on base plus slugging. This statistic combines 2 different statistics in one. The first is on-base percentage, or OBP. This statistic measures how frequently a player makes it to base per plate appearance. Unlike batting average, which only looks at hits per at-bat, on-base percentage is a more all-encompassing statistic. It is calculated by adding hits, walks, and hits by pitches, and dividing it by the number of plate appearances, or at-bats, walks, hits by pitches, and sacrifice flies. The other half of the equation of OPS is slugging percentage, or SLG. Slugging percentage is similar to batting average, however, it gives extra weight to additional base hits. While batting average looks solely at hits, and on-base percentage looks at how often the batter gets to base, slugging percentage weighs doubles, triples, and home runs higher than singles. The equation is 1 base plus 2 times 2 bases plus 3 times 3 bases plus 4 times the number of home runs divided by the number of at-bats. Getting back to OPS, OPS stands for on base plus slugging and is simply calculated by adding the two numbers together. A .320 on base percentage is league average, with above .340 considered good, above .360 being great, and above .400 being elite. .310 is below average, with .300 being poor and below .250 being very poor. League average slugging is around .400, with .450 being great and above .500 being exceptional. Below .350 is poor, with .300 and below being very poor. A .710 OPS is league average, with .800 being above average, .900 being great, and .1,000 being exceptional. .670 is below average, with .600 being poor and .570 being very poor. The slash line is a very common way to represent stats for players. You may see a player listed like this, but with no labels, it's hard to understand. The slash line is always represented by the following three statistics: batting average, then on-base percentage, then slugging percentage. The rest of this video covers pitching statistics. IP stands for innings pitched. Because this is a pitching statistic, innings pitched represents the number of innings a pitcher has completed. More specifically, it represents the number of outs the pitcher has accrued during his time at the pitcher's mound, counting both base runners and batters. Because an inning is subdivided into 3 outs, each out counts as 1/3 of an inning. 3 outs counts as 1 full inning pitched. In the box score, outs are represented as 0.1 for 1 out, 0.2 for 2, and 0.0 for 3 outs because the 3rd out counts as a complete inning. For example, a pitcher listed as a 5.1 in the box score means that he pitched 5 full innings and the first out of the 6th, then was relieved by another pitcher. Remember that innings pitched looks only at outs. So in this example, the pitcher could have had 3 base hits and 2 runs scored after recording his 5.1 innings. The relief pitcher would then tally 0.2 for completing this inning. H under pitching statistics refers to hits, same as in batting statistics. When reading the pitching box score, the H determines how many hits the pitcher gave up during his time on the mound. R stands for runs, same as in batting statistics. This indicates how many runs, or times a player safely rounded all the bases and crosses home plate during the pitcher's time on the mound. The next stat is ER, which we'll hold off talking about until we talk about ERA later on. BB, or base on balls, is the same as in batting statistics, except measuring how many times the pitcher walked batters during the game. K stands for strikeout, same as in batting, how many times the pitcher struck out opposing batters. HR stands for home runs. The stat indicates how many home runs the pitcher allowed during the game. The final statistic, ERA, stands for earned runs average. It is one of the most common statistics by which pitchers are evaluated. It is calculated by multiplying 9, the traditional length of a baseball game, by the number of earned runs divided by the number of innings pitched. An earned run is slightly different than a normal run. Both count as runs for the official score at the end of the game. However, an earned run means that it was the fault of the pitcher. Errors and catcher misplays are not counted against a pitcher as part of their earned runs. Likewise, if a relief pitcher comes into the game, runners left on base by the previous pitcher will be counted against them, not to the relief pitcher. Basically, pitchers are only credited with an earned run when it is their fault that a batter got on base and eventually scored. Earned runs are determined by the official scorer. Unlike batting statistics, where higher numbers are better, a low ERA is better because it indicates that the pitcher gave up very few runs, while a high ERA is bad because it means that the pitcher gave up runs during their time on the pitcher's mound. Most pitchers have an ERA between 4 and 5. Above 5 is below average, and a pitcher with above 6 for a prolonged period of time might even be relegated to the bullpen, reserve pitchers, or even the minor leagues. An ERA between 3 and 4 is considered above average. 3 and below is achieved only by the best pitchers in the league, often all-time great pitchers. This is one of the oldest statistics by which pitchers are evaluated, being calculated as far back as the 1870s. That said, the game has evolved significantly through the years. The top 5 ERA leaders all ended their careers before 1922. This is something to keep in mind when comparing statistics across eras, no pun intended. Understanding baseball statistics and learning how to read box scores is a critical skill for anyone looking to gain a better understanding of the game. Learning these basic statistics can help fans become analysts. It can be a difficult process, but can enrich the experience of baseball. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would help out a lot. Thanks for watching.